will say the city is finished, but what nobody's talking about is what happens after that. So I will.
Yeah, somebody just stole my $18 Lapsang Souchong tea, one of the exact varieties that would have been dumped during the New York Tea Party. You've probably heard of the Boston Tea Party, but Boston was only the first of several colonial port cities to offload their tea. The Tea Act of the 10th of May 1773 was meant by Lord North's Parliament as a sort of compromise with the colonists, who had reacted to direct taxation with, among other actions, the formation of the Sons of Liberty in 1765. Now, Parliament reckoned that a price of 10 shillings per pound, far below that of smuggled Dutch tea, would overcome the colonists' qualms over the East India Company monopoly. On the 16th of December, Bostonians took the incredible step of dumping 342 chests of tea into the harbor. Learning that there was at least one ship bound for New York as well, on the 17th, John Lamb of the Sons of Liberty harangued 3,000 New Yorkers, suggesting that they reconvene, quote, on the arrival of the tea ship. 3 days later, none other than Paul Revere rode up to New York City with news from Boston, along with tidings of the ship Nancy, Captain Lockyer, carrying a whopping 698 chests of the hated tea. And arrive the Nancy did on the 18th of April 1774, beaten and battered by storms in the Indies. 14 of the Sons of Liberty boarded her at Sandy Hook before permitting her to continue on to the city for a refit. Captain Lockyer was put up in Merchant's Coffee House on the corner of Pearl and Wall Streets. On the 22nd, just as placards went up announcing a, quote, public leave-taking of the Nancy, the ship London also appeared off Sandy Hook, where the Sun's Vigilance Committee wrangled the facts from an unwilling Captain Chambers. The committee took possession of both captain and owners, bringing them right here to Francis Tavern. Now Chambers was a New Yorker, and news of his betrayal led a crowd to form at the wharf, who, becoming impatient around 8 o'clock, boarded the London, forced open the hatches, and just kind of threw all the tea in the harbor. Now, to see how alive the New York Tea Party is in the city's collective memory, I interviewed random New Yorkers on Fifth Avenue. What do you know about the New York Tea Party? A lot. Excuse me, sir. I'm here asking New Yorkers what they know about the New York Tea Party for the 250th anniversary of when we followed Boston's example and threw the tea in the harbor. Just to gauge New York's interest in our revolutionary history, and this is a series that I'm doing for YouTube. Yeah.
You have the Founding Fathers, which is excellent. They did a great job. And then coming into the United States, that's coming abroad now, is eating the country alive. People don't contribute, they don't build. They came in here, the Catholic Church, they went in there on a holy day, and they started pandering with them. So what you have here is you have a lot of violence, and you don't teach kindness, objectivity, and beauty. And everything has got a twist to it, but it's not to protect the nature of the United States. And in bringing that forward, we bring people caring for one another and building each state.
Nobody says the Pledge of Allegiance in school.
You ever hear the Globalist book? Well, I'll show you something right now that you will not see. And you're looking at probably the most devastating book that's available today.
Excuse me? So I'm out here asking New Yorkers what they know about the New York Tea Party, 1774.
I don't know because I'm not a New Yorker.
Okay, well, so you know in 1773, Boston, they threw the tea in the water. Downtown used to be like the edge of the city, right?
Well, there was do you really want to know? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
all right. Well, the British were charging taxes on tea and other goods from Britain without there being any representation from the United States. Hence, they did dump the tea into the sea at the Boston Harbor. Yeah.
You're a nice young man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you take care.
Yeah, you too.
How are you? What do you mean with history?
I'm actually out here asking New Yorkers what to know about the New York Tea Party, 1774. Nancy is coming up with more than twice the amount of tea that have been dumped in Boston, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
yes, so it's more tea, far less famous.
Okay,
so,
and you're asking if people know the history?
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
I like history, so I was interested
in.
What
yeah, you know what that is?
I
Dieu
don't know.
Montois. So That's the Order of the Garter's war in France. You know, he was trying to take over France because he thought he should have been king of France instead of his cousin. And so God on my right, and then in the middle it says, well, in English, may he be ashamed who thinks ill of it. But I've always found it strange that it's in New York. You know, it's like right on the front of Rockefeller Center when obviously nobody here can have to be a royal. What I learned is that non-New Yorkers are much happier to talk about our city's history than the native born. Maybe it's time for New Yorkers to see their city and its colorful past through a fresh set of eyes.